Are you gonna give me orders?
In store for you guys, as you can see in the bracket. The one score that's not filled out yet is between HeRoMaRinE and Reynor. Two players that have played each other quite a bit lately over the last few months. At first, it was a relatively one-sided affair. Reynor was winning most of the encounters. HeRoMaRinE said that he just doesn't really know how to beat Zerg. Suddenly, everything started making sense. HeRoMaRinE got a victory. And then we had the TSL qualifiers, where HeRoMaRinE beat Reynor 2-0 in the upper bracket. We're like, wow, that's really cool. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but it's going to happen again, and we'll see what happens then. Another 2-0 for HeRoMaRinE. So in the last two series, he is 4-0 against Reynor. I am excited for this best of 5. I picked Reynor to win, which probably means that HeRoMaRinE is going to 3-0, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's over. We don't even need to watch it anymore.
I mean, I feel like Reynor is the modern king of lanes. He used to sort of win games where people would go, oh, yeah, but he just got a good lane counterattack, blah, blah, fundamentals not measuring up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Reynor has blossomed into a really universal player that still uses those hallmark Zergling counterattacks to get big edges. In the top right, the up-and-coming star and one of the best Zergs in the entire world. It is Reynor.
Of course, the runner-up of the WCS Global Finals last year. And in the left bottom side, we have a man who's massive. Hailing from Germany, it is HeRoMaRinE.
Woohoo! Man, I still remember that Reynor Serral series so vividly. Of the these Ling Ultra styles going up against Roach Hydra. I mean, it was such a fantastic matchup. And I mean, Reynor is just really deserves more championships, frankly.
Yeah, there was this one man preventing him from getting a couple of those. I mean, making it to the finals when we still had the WCS circuit. Of course, now we're all part of the ESL Pro Tour, but Reynor actually had a remarkable record where he didn't lose against anyone other than Serral for like 2 years straight in WCS circuit events. It's just an insane run. It was quarterfinals in Valencia, his first WCS event ever, only lost to Serral. The next one was Montreal, made it to the final, lost against Serral. And then the year continued. Winter, the year after that, he ended up winning the entire tournament. Then he lost to Serral in Kiev. Then he won against Serral in Kiev. I mean, Reynor's results were consistent. And it felt like nobody other than Serral in the WCS circuit could defeat Reynor. But that's not really the case anymore. I don't want to say that Reynor suddenly looks weak or vulnerable, but HeRoMaRinE has been scoring some very good victories over Reynor lately. And then, of course, there's Clem as well, who's also been getting quite a few wins over Reynor.
I mean, I'm curious the sort of style that we're going to see out of HeRoMaRinE, because if we look at someone like Clem or Innovation Series earlier today, there's just a lot of aggression that kicks in off 3 base. And you go to 4, 5, 6 base, but these are almost like dud bases. You're just attacking like crazy. And if you look at the composition, they're still relatively low tech. It's like Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and mines come and go and, grow and shrink, but really it's all about aggression. If you've been watching HeRoMaRinE stream over the past few months or years, HeRoMaRinE is pretty frequently going for more late game compositions, being willing to defend a little bit more, round out, invest in some juicy later game tech, even having Ghosts make some nice appearances here and there. And I'm curious to see if he is going to be favoring the sort of all-out aggression that we've been seeing today from Terran players, or if he's going to be doing some of the more traditional styles he's explored on stream.
Well, he's opening up with double Reaper here, which is a little bit different, right? We often just see single Reaper. So far, it's a pretty good start for HeRoMaRinE. He already got 1 drone. Wow. He gets the 2nd drone at this point. And look at that. Reynor starts a 3-minute lair, aware of the fact that there is a bunker there, aware of the fact there are 2 Reapers out. And he's like, if I want to just expand, it's going to take forever before I get this expand. I don't want to deal with it. And he's going for what I assume is going to be a 2-base Mutalisk opening here on the Eternal Empire.
Yeah, we saw Sue really and over a series with Innovation increasingly favor Mutalisks. And it could be a really nice sort of panacea to this crazy aggression that we're seeing. Dude, if I can just get enough ultra-mobile flyers, this is the best way to start dealing with 2-pronged attacks where the Terran lifts up and retreats away from creep. I mean, you get Mutalisks, this just solves so many problems.
The Reaper's actually hopping into the bunker there for a split second. Now the Hellions show up as well. but that is not going to prevent Reynor from finally getting this base. But this is obviously a solid minute and a half later than we often see it. Now, HeRoMaRinE thinks about getting into the natural. This is a bit risky. He's very deep on creep. I don't think this is going to work out. Maybe a couple of drones will go down, but that should pretty much be it.
Well, I mean, HeRoMaRinE is going to lose those Hellions, and then there's this other pair of Hellions that made it to the top that kind of have that,
yeah,
getting out of here. And I feel like already we're seeing some indicators of this. Well, HeRoMaRiNE's always comfortable going to a little bit of a later stage sooner. Like, players like Maru, even earlier today, Innovation, were getting 6, 8 or so Hellions before going back to Medic Marine, so on and so forth. Here we see Big Gabe only getting 4 Hellions and transitioning, and that actually winds up being quite a bit faster of a transition. So the 1-1 is already started. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the aggression kicking in right around the time the Mutalisks are getting ready to get into gear.
Yeah, it's an interesting opening. It's not necessarily the playing ground that I normally see between these two when it's 5 minutes into a game, but I'm excited to see where Reynor is going to take all of this. He obviously doesn't have the same economy as he would like to have. I think, you know, the fact that he was able to clean up those 2 Reapers and those 2 Hellions as easily as he did, that's going to make him feel a little bit better about everything. But it still feels that Reynor needs to catch a break somewhere eventually with the Mutas, with the Lynx, to make sure that he can actually, you know, bring this into a macro game where he's not quite far behind already.
Well, the King of Lings sent the Zerglings to the 3rd at literally the timing. I mean, it was perfect. Blocked with a Zergling, and a lot of counterattacks. There's really 2 kinds of Zergling counterattacks, at least from a how do I do them and be a good player point of view. One is like timing-based counterattacks, which, you know, like that Zergling move right there, that's very much so. Yeah, he could be leaning towards a 3rd right around now. You want to just get there at the perfect time. But for a lot of the game, Reynor does these almost just multitasking-based counters, and it's so important to not bring too many Zerglings with the counterattack. Because if you bring like 30 Zerglings, like what we saw out of, say, Ragnarok versus Maru in GSL, you can do what looks like a great counterattack and then just lose because, boy, you lost 30 Zerglings, man. You know, it's very easy to have your counterattacks backfire.
Yep, we saw that a little bit earlier today as well with DRG against Clem, right? A couple of counterattacks, you're like, whoa, that's a lot of Zerglings that ran by, and then Clem stands there with 18 Marines, and it's like, yeah, thank you very much. This is the meat grinder, you're welcome. And all those links get ticked off, and they don't achieve much at all. The creep spread is actually pretty good, considering the fact how this game started off. Reynor felt like he was sleeping on those Mutas. Upgrade-wise, this could be a minor issue. I mean, 1-1 just started for Reynor. It's already done for HeRoMaRinE. That armory was a split second late, though, so Gabe is not able to immediately start 2-2, but he's still going to have a nice lead for quite some time.
Well, we have some good old gooping up the engineering bay, going to prevent it from researching. Absolutely love the contamination ability. It should be on the Zergling. It's like one of my favorite abilities in the game. Reynor has that 4th base up. No Rich Vespene Geyser usage yet. And kind of thanks to those Mutalisks, this creep spread is way farther out than in the other series we've seen today.
Yeah,
I mean, HeRoMaRinE is getting there, doing really nice spreads.
I mean, the Mutas are all the way on the other side of the map, and that's something that I'd be a little bit worried about. This is an insane amount of Marines already. There's no tanks here, which means that it's just even more Marines. There's 2 Widow Mines. HeRoMaRinE is going to take the high ground there and gets a good position and picks up 5 drones immediately.
And look at this, Reynor just not even caring. He's just going to use his Mutalisk to do what? Pick off the supply depot that could deny future Zergling counterattacks. I mean, Reynor is really helping out my commentary right here, man. What a nice guy.
Well, it made it hard, of course, for HeRoMaRinE to reinforce this push, but Gabe actually played it very calm, very composed. He's like, no, I'm not going to send 2 Marines at a time. I'll just bank up 12 or 14 Marines. Then I'll send those to the other side of the map. And look at this. Reynor is panicking a bit. The Mutas are still on the other side of the map, which means that he is not going to be able to defend this base. He gets a couple of decent connections with the Banelings, but that's not enough. Losing this base is critical, and I feel that Reynor is in a bit of trouble here.
Well, Reynor did manage to pick off the rally point units, has Zerglings in the 3rd base. Losing this base would be nearly game over for Reynor. Reynor's just continuing to rebuild more Banelings, waiting for the Mutalisks to get there. They're just still not there. They're still not there. Oh, great spreads from HeRoMaRinE. The Banelings connect, but there's just not that much to connect with, and here come the Mutalisks.
Oh my God.
Plus Baneling. Where are the other reinforcements? Reynor's losing track of some of them. They're getting stuck behind the refinery.
The Marine control there by HeRoMaRinE was fantastic, but now he actually kind of brings them all back together as he was dealing with the Zerglings at home. That went so good for HeRoMaRinE for so long. Now he's forced to evacuate, but he still gets out of there with 2 medevacs, and one of them was carrying 8 Marines. Still a fantastic position to be in for HeRoMaRinE, but it felt like he could have gotten a little bit more there. Maybe just staying in the position that he was, because the splits on the Marines, they were fantastic. Really good micro by HeRoMaRinE.
I mean, they like splitting in the fight, splitting before the fight. I mean, this is the kind of efficiency that just makes it feel so unfair. This guy's making 3 units. It's like Marines and medevacs and like 2 mines, and he just controls them so well. Reynor, as you've been saying multiple times this game, is just kind of up against a wall.
Yeah, he did take that base on the right side, so he does technically have 4 bases at this point, but this is one that he really needs to defend. It is one that's going to be very easy for HeRoMaRinE to push, and the army supply doesn't lie. It's 97 against 54. Mutas are flying into Marines left and right, and because these Marines already have +2, it's hard for these Mutalisks to fight them, because these are not Stu Mutas. I mean, he has +1 flyer attacks, but that's it.
Only 13 Mutalisks out as well. And if you look at the unit count, 26 Banelings, 13 Mutas, and a smattering of Lings. There's just not the macro numbers that you would normally want or expect out of a Zerg player at this point in time. And you see HeRoMaRinE pushing forward with his Marine-heavy composition. 2-2 is done. Drilling Claws almost complete. Great pre-spread ding here from HeRoMaRinE. And I don't think Reynor's going to be able to make these archetypical counterattacks work. Picks off the front line, but there's so many more Marines on the other side.
He had to worry about a drop in the natural as well. He sort of took care of that, but the thing is, Reynor cannot go down this ramp. Surrounding his army is very hard because units have to go all the way to the right bottom side of the map. That just takes a little bit too long, which means that Reynor has to run into these Widow Mines, and that's not a place you want to be as a Zerg player.
And look at these Marines all the way on the far right side, microing away from Banelings off creep. HeRoMaRinE sees an opportunity and storms forward. Oh, that is a big cluster right there, but HeRoMaRinE carefully pulls back, and we see it looks like only 3 Banelings are alive.
Yep, well, those 3 Banelings are going to get picked off as well. Reynor's going to try to get a few more. He did re-expand again back to the base with the Rich Vespene Geyser, but HeRoMaRinE is just pedal to the metal. He is not slowing down. He's hyper-aggressive. He is very deep on creep, so he has to be a little bit careful here that he doesn't get flanked by Marines, but this Terran army is massive.
And this is the problem with just a Mutalisk-based opening instead of trying to get a really fast third. You have to deal a lot of damage to justify not getting such a good economy early on. We see Banelings on creep. HeRoMaRinE, he doesn't even care, man. He just has endless streams of these guys coming in.
Reynor is going to try to squeeze out 30 more Zerglings, but that Widow Mine is going to be the nail in the coffin here. Those were all the Banelings that Reynor had left. The drones are forced to evacuate one more time, but there is simply not enough left. HeRoMaRinE with a stunning performance here in Game 1. Wow. Oh, he looked good, Sean. He looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, that was just clean. Clean. I mean, the only real significant error that you'd point to from HeRoMaRinE is, oh no, he lost the Reaper and the Hellions at the start of the game going into the natural. Is that okay? Is that too much of a loss? Well, HeRoMaRinE was already going for very, very fast Marines and medevacs. So very similar to Clem on this exact same map. If you get Marines with stim and medevacs quickly enough, they kind of do the same thing as large numbers of Hellions and Banshees at the start of the game.
I love the way that he dealt with the heavy Muta count as well, right? It was pretty clear that Reynor just wanted to pick off reinforcements that were, trickled to the other side of the map one by one. But HeRoMaRine's like, no, I'm not going to send units one by one. I'll just save up a whole bunch of units, and then I'll send that force eventually to reinforce and make sure that your Mutas can't fight it. And Reynor was looking for openings, was trying to pick off units, but Gabe was just not giving him any. And I thought the Marine splits on creep against those Banelings, they were spectacular. That was as good as it gets, pretty much.
I love the point that you bring up about just waiting a little bit, because it's very easy to fall into the sort of habitual trap where it's like, okay, well, stim's done and medevacs are done, so go. And you have 16 Marines, you have 2 medevacs. All right, I can load up and run away. And a Mutalisk player is almost begging a Terran player to do that. 2 medevacs full of Marines, whether they're loaded or unloaded, Mutalisks plus the accompanying Zerglings are pretty much happy. But Reynor waited until he had something like 40 Marines. Why do I keep saying Reynor, man? When HeRoMaRinE moved forward, he had something like 40 Marines in that fight against Reynor, that very first one at the Rich Gas. And it was like, oh yeah, I guess Mutalisk really can't do anything against that. And right from that moment in the game, you just saw Reynor was scrambling to get back in.
I love that push.
Play.
It was, you said it. It's 2 Widow Mines, a couple Medevacs, and a lot of Marines. And I mean, yeah, against somebody who opened up 2 base Muda, I guess you may as well, right? Why build siege things there? Why not just get an insane amount of Marines? Because the circling Baneling count is going to be lower than it normally is. A spectacular first game by the German. Meanwhile, the Italian, spawning in the left bottom side, is in a little bit of trouble. He's representing Clash. It is Reynor.
And up in the top right, here to continue the trend of disrupting Roddy and Day 9's bracket predictions, currently leading the series 1-0, the German superstar Terran, HeRoMaRinE.
I'm pretty sure that if I would have asked my mom to make predictions about the games today, she would have done better than me, okay? Like, you're supposed to go 50-50, right? Like, my mom would have just predicted Serral to lose and stuff like that. And it's like, no,
God,
Mom.
she's an esports clairvoyant. How did she know?
Oh, what a day. I want to actually know who made the best predictions today. You know, I'm sure that we are not the only ones that are wrong. There's just no way. Because a lot of the things we predicted, they are not outrageous. They made sense. But we were wrong. I want to see somebody who predicted 6, 7, or even 8 of these series correctly. Yeah. I mean, that'd just be insane.
And, you know, since this is the last series that we're going to be casting today, I wanted to give one last shout out to the Claymation opening. Is just, every time I see it, I am blown away at how adorable it is. And just the entire artistic style. It was coming up. Like, look in the top left and top right corners. Like, those little lightning bolts that are there. Yeah, those little clay lightning bolts are so tight. I love those.
I love it as well. The artwork is awesome. Of course, since this is our last series, maybe one more thank you to the awesome sponsors of TSL 5, Secret Lab, with their fantastic chairs. I am very happily sitting on one right now. Of course, Ting, you guys can still head over to tsl.ting.com where you can get started, and $25 of credit as well if you are in the United States of America. And then, of course, Twitch. I mean, what are you guys doing if you don't love Twitch? I mean, we're watching on Twitch right now. And, of course, Shopify as well, title sponsor of TSL 5.
And Shopify has been so great about supporting all these various events that, you know, it's such a strange time right now. And the fact that there are companies still supporting tournaments like this, online cups, when it's impossible currently to do big live stadium-style esports events, it's wonderful. So thank you so much.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Now, this game is starting off already a little bit better for Reynor. You know, never want to make too big of a deal, right? When a Reaper dives in and gets a drone, and then the second Reaper showed up and they got 2 drones. But that does kind of get everything started. If you are opening up with a 2-base Muda opening, your economy is already not that strong. So if you lose 2 drones against the Reapers, that's already kind of an oof moment. It's not game ending, but it's bad, man, because you're already working with less than you're normally working with. So every drone is super important. This time, Reynor is off to a much better start. Did not end up losing anything against his Reaper.
And it looks like HeRoMaRinE is going to be the first one to do an unusual turn. We see a second factory in production, hidden away in the back corners of the base with a tech lab getting produced. Now, if you are Reynor is moving forward and is going to see HeRoMaRinE building the usual trio at this point in the game. Barracks, factory, starport. Reynor is going to move forward, and I bet when he sees that starport, he's just going to go, oh, okay, and maybe just turn around, give up. No, he's going to get a peek at the add-ons. And as Reynor, it's very easy to go, I know exactly what is going on here. And you don't. You have no idea what's going on, right? There's a hidden factory.
Exactly. So we are going to see some blue flame Hellions here. Could eventually be Hellbats as well. I don't think we have an armory yet, but there is a chance that we'll see one. Now this is going to be cool, because if Reynor has no idea that this is happening and he just has a very standard amount of units, he could be in a lot of trouble, because you're going to need Banelings. The Banelings need to be in place to deal with this stuff, because just Zerglings, there's no way they can fight Hellions and Hellbats with blue flame as well.
HeRoMaRinE is also going for this very cute medevac drop. It is going to be Hellbats. Look, there's the armory getting produced right now. Having, again, some kind of pressure leading into an attack, some kind of pressure leading into expansions is the name of the game in this matchup. HeRoMaRinE is going to start off trying to get a little damage done in the back.
Well, that's gonna
Infernal
be pretty
Pre-Igniter
good.
is specifically not done yet, which is really good news for Reynor. It means
Oh,
that
no.
he's not revealing a strategy. Get in there!
Okay, that was a bit clumsy there. Took a little more damage than he should have. Was not able to pick off the 2 Hellions immediately. But at this point, if you're Reynor, you're still like, okay, I lost a couple drones, but how bad is it really? Well, the drones that you lost, that's not the end of the world. He's gonna come back in. No, HeRoMaRinE, this queen's waiting for you. But it's all about the follow-up, right? It's all about the Hellions and the Hellbats that are now being revealed on creep. Reynor had no idea. He was still building drones. He needs way more Banes, and he's gonna fire them up. But is it too late?
Oh my gosh, Blue Flame is so much damage. Where are the Banelings? We see a bunch more getting more, but the original Hellion drop units are now going back into the main base. We have an assault at the 3rd. We see Reynor desperately trying to get his drones out of there, and meanwhile in the main base there's a pair of Hellbats picking off drones.
Reynor is doing this really well, though, even though he sent the drones back to that middle line at the top side, and he needs to make sure that he doesn't do that too early. I gotta say, amazing defense by Reynor. There was a Baneling that magically connected and splashed over all the Hellions and Hellbats. That was a great start, but I was like, well, you're not done yet. But in the end, he just had a great splits on his units. The Baneling connections were easily good enough. And at this point, HeRoMaRinE is actually in a bit of trouble. He's down 10 workers. Obviously, the follow-up of the Marines, that's gonna take a little while. He needs more damage, and so far he has not succeeded in doing so. He has already lost 13 Hellions or Hellbats, actually 14, 1 Hellion and 13 Hellbats. He needs way more than he's gotten so far.
Oh, HeRoMaRinE is going to try to blitz up into the main base with that Blue Flame done. Let's get some value out of it. Look at these spreads from Reynor. These small numbers of Hellions are dealing more damage than that entire 14 Hellbat push. I mean, it is crazy how good the defense of Reynor is this game.
Yep, does finally clean this up. There was a Liberator during all of this as well at 9 o'clock, getting a few additional drone kills, but the Spore Crawler eventually took care of it. But at least Gabe evened up the economies for a little bit. It still means that his follow-up is going to be delayed, right? He's not going to have the same push as he normally does. It is nice to have Blue Flame because the circling counterattack is suddenly not all that terrifying to deal with. This is a pretty feisty game as well so far, very explosive. Not the HeRoMaRinE we normally see, because I like what you said.
Yeah.
He's normally calm and composed and just kind of controls the game and tries to build up an army. No, this game, HeRoMaRinE is wild. He's out for blood, and he's just trying to kill as many drones as he possibly can.
I genuinely thought that I had hit some button that disabled my UI because I couldn't believe that there were no drones dying in that. And then all of a sudden, at the very end of that Hellbat push, a few drones die. Now, you know, if you just keep hurling Blue Flame Hellions at workers, you're guaranteed to get some kills. But the question is, how much are you disrupting your economy? If we look at this point in the game, we're at 8 minutes, and just now HeRoMaRinE is finishing up all the key barracks in his main base. In last game, it was like 6 minutes when HeRoMaRinE had all of these barracks done. Combat Shield is not done. All sorts of other next step things are not done. And once again, we see Reynor with calm fourth base, but there's no pressure that's happening right now. This is... You really see the time shifting that happens when you get a really good defense as Reynor and when you go 3-hatch first.
Yeah, I think the initial defense of Reynor was really good, right? Against the first big attack, the multi-prong, that was perfect. The second wave of Hellions was somewhat successful, and now that previous run by, I think, was also pretty successful. I mean, it's quite crazy, because if anybody asks, like, oh, what happened between Reynor and HeRoMaRinE on Everdream? It's like, well, 9 minutes into the game, HeRoMaRinE made 28 Hellions. Like, that doesn't even sound realistic. You're like, that's not a belt order. Like, nobody makes 28 Hellions. Well, HeRoMaRinE did. He is going to follow it up with Bio, and this is going to be really important for Reynor to not take any damage, because Stim Marines in the main base, they're actually going to be able to jump on the Spire, and they are going for the Spire. They'll get the Spire. Reynor is in trouble.
Will there be any Mutalisk built? No, nothing. No Mutalisk were constructed. Even though it was alive for a few seconds, I mean, this could not have been better timing for Gabe. Gabe is now picking everything back up, getting out of there, and now HeRoMaRinE also trying to find yet more kills with these Blue Flame Hellions at the north side, dropping at this bottom base. Reynor is starting to get a little peeled in different directions.
Yeah, but it's spectacular play once again by HeRoMaRinE, where this time it didn't start off with the first attack, but the follow-ups have been so good. He's now making some progress on the top side of the map as well. He already has drilling claws, by the way. He's stepping on creep. No mutas are out. Reynor is in trouble. HeRoMaRinE has a 100 army supply against 53 of Reynor.
What is happening? HeRoMaRinE just assembles A near-death army marches on to creep. Widowmines connecting with everything. HeRoMaRinE technically cleans up, but down in the bottom left, there's drops. The natural expansion's taking massive damage. That Spire, is it actually going to get killed off again? It looks like, wow, you thought that you defended the attack on the 3rd and 4th base? Nope, here comes HeRoMaRinE with another rally.
Oh no, these drones are in so much trouble. Reynor is going to take a serious beating here. He's running through Widowmines. At least the Lings and Banelings survive. And he does keep the base alive, but at what cost? The cost of 18 drones. Finally, the Spire is done. Finally, we'll see 10 Mutas, but Reynor is in all the trouble, man. He's down in workers in a CVT. Not a place you want to be in.
How many workers has Reynor lost this game? I mean, I've seen 2-digit numbers show up on the side. 50 workers. 50 workers. That is so much money gone down the tubes, man. Wow.
And HeRoMaRinE is just not stopping. Again, it's the same as last game. It's pedal to the metal, 1 speed, 1 gear, and it's go time. He's pulling the units out of position as well. Reynor is chasing a single medevac on the right bottom side, which will allow HeRoMaRinE once again to get in a good position here at this critical 4th base of Reynor.
And I mean, that right there is one of the benefits of having Mutalisks in the composition. You get harassed a little bit, you don't just defend, you can actually go back and pick it off. Reynor's going to do another little classic counterattack. Reynor, it looks like, some unbelievable Baneling connections do successfully pick off the entire army, because I guess HeRoMaRinE was distracted by this really nicely timed Zergling counterattack. I cannot believe this 4th base is alive, and there's the Mutalisks showing up to pick off the Thor.
That's insane. Really good defense by Reynor. He was in trouble, man. He was on the ropes, but he made a lot happen with very little on the other side of the map. Bought enough time for himself. I'm not going to say that I love his position because there is no infestation pit. The economy is, recovering. He's still in it, but he's still in trouble because 3-3 upgrades are already on the way for HeRoMaRinE. And Reynor, like I said, doesn't have an infestation pit. Hive is nowhere near inside, but he at least is still in the game.
There's also no upgrades on the Mutalisks, and if you wind up getting to 3-3, I mean, the SCVs, getting that 3 armor, it's actually pretty hard to kill SCVs with Mutalisks. I mean, the glaive bounces are essentially irrelevant at that point. I mean, this was an absolutely stunning defense from Reynor. The fact that Reynor was able to go from such a significant supply deficit to having a minor supply lead is just breathtaking. But everything you're saying, Roddy, is the key points, right? There's no next step setup. There's no infestation pit. There's no different tech at all, period, except for Ling Baneling Muta. And so Reynor, I think, is doing the best choice he can right now, which is just expand a bunch, creep spread a bunch, and try to make sure I'm defending a bunch. But it's going to be minutes before Reynor can mount any sort of substantial offensive outside of little Zergling counterattacks.
He has no idea about this army that's just moving around casually on the top side of the map. This is the first time that Reynor sees it. He's going to lose a little bit of creep. There's still that mine on the right side. That mine has picked up like 30 Zerglings or something. But Reynor is going to try to buy some time. There's another mine that gets another massive hit. All the Zerglings pretty much get picked off there. These random Widow mines with drilling claws have just proven to be fantastic throughout the day, actually.
Gosh, what just an artful positioning of these mines. You sometimes would see, one of these cute mines in a TVP hiding behind a refinery to pick off an oracle, but I mean, nowadays it is just mines at every base, mines at random connection paths, Mutalisks from Reynor just trying to find somewhere to get in, and this is also very subtly picking off any reinforcements from this troop that's trying to pressure the 4th base. Reynor also does not have gas geysers at a lot of his expansions. He is going heavy on the minerals. He's going low tech until he winds up getting the Hive, Adrenal, Ultras, and those other next step units.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love the army movement of Reynor over the last few minutes. He has to be careful with his Mutas. HeRoMaRinE setting up a flank. Oh my goodness. So many Mutas.
An enormous Baneling Assault just deletes the expansion in the center of the map. I mean, that was a good pick off at the north side, but I think HeRoMaRinE may have been a little too focused on these Mutalisks. You are right on the money, Roddy. These movements from Reynor are gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I was only focused on the Mutas as well, so I can't blame him. I was like, that's sick. And then it's like, oh, you lost the base. I mean, still kind of sick, right?
Yeah.
random store is getting picked off by Mudas here. Marines are going to try to save it, but it's a little bit too late. HeRoMaRinE is moving on to creep in the middle of the map. Mudas again flying into Marines. Reynor, what are you doing, my friend?
There are now no more Mutalisks at all. 0 are on the battlefield, which means it is time for HeRoMaRinE to kick into high gear. Almost all the units were at the north side of the map from Reynor, and he was using the Mutalisk to get intel, to get zoning. Those are gone now, so Reynor is able to walk right up, begin picking away at this hatchery, but look at the number of banelings. The splits are pretty damn good from HeRoMaRinE, but this is just an insane amount of units.
Yeah, the Bane count is high, but this is also an upgrade deficit that Reynor is facing. Once again, really good splits. I am surprised with how well this went in the end for Reynor, but obviously HeRoMaRinE has more where that's coming from. He still has units on the left top side as well. I don't think Reynor has any forces here at all, and I wouldn't send the drone to that extractor. I would send the drones away, and that is what he does in the end. His base is in trouble.
Drones, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I need you to mine a lot of gas right now. The most untrustworthy commander.
All of you guys are like, isn't 3 enough? No, all 23.
No. Look, trust me, just do it.
You guys want to get rid of the Marines, right? We need banelings. Start mining. It's like, but that doesn't make any sense. Just do it.
Well, with the Mutalisk down, there's not really enough opportunity anymore to remass up on Mutalisks. So just getting a few Corruptors to shove back the Medivacs to make sure that count is continuously staying low, and we see all the good old late game orange upgrades, Adrenal Glands, the Chitinous Plating, Carapace and Melee Attack, level 3. I can't stress enough how dangerous Zerglings become when you get that Adrenal Gland. I mean, they just tear, lone buildings and SCVs apart. 40% increase in attack rate. Jeez.
I mean, off creep, I just don't see a way for Reynor. He needs to somehow survive until these upgrades eventually kick in, but that's going to be so hard. That's a massive Widowmine connection. The second one takes care of the majority of the banelings. At this point, there is one baneling remaining, just one baneling. That can't possibly be enough. We have a tiny Zergling counterattack, but I think that HeRoMaRinE has pretty much done it. This army is not going to get stopped.
Oh, wow, the Zergling counterattack just got completely denied by 3 Widowmines. I mean, the Widowmines are the unit of the day for Terran players. Reynor's trying to move forward, but there are just too many Marauders. I mean, just the sheer tankiness of all of this. 3/3 upgrades. Oh no, finishing right at the end of the attack.
Yeah, when Reynor is pretty much out of units. It was really cool to see him have a couple of banelings as a flank on the right side. We have another Zergling counterattack trying to get a few SCVs, but I'm afraid it's just a little too late. Reynor running out of steam.
Goodness.
HeRoMaRinE with the 2-0 lead.
Goodness. I mean, HeRoMaRinE, if we look at this game, it seems like, let's start from the middle of the game going to the end and compare it to the last one. When HeRoMaRinE has decided it's time to flood bio and just pick off bases, it looks like there's nothing you can do. I mean, Reynor did long sequences of incredible counterattacking and Mutalisks, sniping individual units and picking off of workers. And the instant Reynor's focus slipped a little bit, that was it, done. HeRoMaRinE moving forward. I mean, in the late game, he's a complete bulldozer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speechless, actually. Reynor is requesting a 1-minute break, maybe just trying to get his thoughts together and trying to get everything in the right place to somehow turn this around. But, I mean, HeRoMaRinE, we know that he's incredibly good. He has been one of the top players in Europe for a while, but he is just consistently now really bringing the fight to someone like Reynor and winning games. You can win games in many different ways where it's like, okay, you got a bit lucky with that drop. Like, there is not one moment in these games that allows HeRoMaRinE to win. It's a sequence of events. It's just right decision after right decision. So many good plays. It really feels that a lot of these guys in the foreign scene, they have leveled up. Last year, they all got dominated by Reynor and Serral. Now they're bringing the fight to them, and it's fantastic to see.
I mean, it's amazing the different modes of late game research Terran players have gone into about how do you navigate the late game against a Zerg. And I mean, there was even the whole, okay, we need to transition to ghosts. When can we begin to turtle up? When can we begin to do those things? And it's kind of funny. It's almost like just pulling the entire matchup down to fundamentals. just Marine, Marauder, Medevac, attack. And then Widow Mines, instead of massing huge numbers of them, you get a good amount in the main army, but then you spread them out over the map to deny the counterattacking. And that, I think, is a really uncomfortable thing to do. I think it's brilliant the way that it is panning out, but of course players wouldn't have explored this. If you just had those 2 mines not at your expansion and instead with your main army, you could have won it, But no. The point is not to win with any one fight. It's instead to just chip away endlessly, and the counterattack preventing mines, I think, are key for that.
Spot on. I'm totally with you. Widow Mines, indeed, the units of the day. In the right bottom side of Nightshade, we're looking at the main base of the man who's down 0-2. He's on the ropes. Can he turn this around? It is Reynor.
And up all the way in the top left, showcasing sensational mid and late game aggression. It is the German HeRoMaRinE.
Wow. I mean, I figured that this
right?
was going to be a close series, right? I mean, HeRoMaRinE won twice in the TSL qualifiers. He has had other victories over Reynor in the past, so you know that he's capable of defeating Reynor. But I was like, nah, I still think on such a big stage, I think that Reynor is going to play his A+ version of StarCraft, and that should still be a little too much to deal with. Well, so far the opposite is true. I mean, the first game you can be like, okay, Reynor just never really got anything going. He was always behind. But in that second game, I felt the initial defense against the Hellbats and Hellions, it was good. It was the second wave that hurt him. It was the third wave that hurt him. And then when the Marines and Marauders started partying, it really felt like that Terran party just never stopped.
I mean, it's really fun to watch this style of play because, there's almost I want to say that a lot of late game, just traditional StarCraft logic is about keeping things clean and organized. I'm going to attack at 2 angles such that you can't really attack my expansion. That way it simplifies the game a little bit. But I almost feel like this Terran style, it's like a sort of messy Terran where, I'm going to send this force in and it'll probably lose, but then I'll send that force in at the top and it'll probably lose, but I'm also denying you bases, and then I'm expanding, and I lost an expansion, and that's okay. I'll send out another force. It's just, I've never seen Terran players lose so many units, so many workers, so many bases, and it still looks like the Zerg is ineffectual. It's really, really cool.
It's insane. I mean, 28 Hellion opening. Who opens up with 28 Hellions and then just seemingly transitions into bio and keeps the pressure up, keeps dropping, keeps attacking. Snipe. That's the timing on that first Spire snipe. We almost forgot about that. But
gosh,
what was that?
Right.
It's like,
oh man.
Yeah, Spire done. Never mind, Spire down. Spire is not done. Insane timings by HeRoMaRinE, and traditionally Nightshade has actually been a map where HeRoMaRinE did very well against Reynor in some of the online tournaments. Even when Reynor was still winning, he often lost on Nightshade, and at one point he even started vetoing Nightshade, where he was just like, this map, it's just like, it's unwinnable against Terran. There's too many good spots in the middle of the map. Marine tank pushes he's just like, you can't counterattack, and it's just happening. You're going to take bad fights in the middle of the map. I'm very worried here, Sean. I don't want this to be over yet. Come on, it's been such a fun day.
Yeah, I mean, every single series, including the ones that have gone 3-0, have been really dramatic. I mean, there's almost... the shortest series was maybe the 5-game Cyril Elazer one. But yeesh. 3 command center opening for HeRoMaRinE, as well as a 3 hatchery opening from Reynor. So both players not doing anything nuts, no... Hey, Kevin, how many Hellions should I build at the start of the game? Well, 4 or 28. That's kind of like the range of consideration you should do. Nope, none of this, just building. Oh, look at this, a starport. Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really am always a big fan of lots of Hellions, double Banshee with Cloak. It's just such a solid opening.
Yep, especially in the hands of HeRoMaRinE, who is very patient with his Banshees. He rarely throws them away just to get 2 or 3 drones. He's like, nope, he'll save them up. He'll pick off a creep tumor and get a couple shots off on some queens here and there. And if there is an opening, he will go for it, but he will never force it. And that's, I think, one of the signs of a great Terran player as well. Normally at the end of the day, you start kind of talking a little bit before the action really picks up. It's like, what was the highlight of your day? What was your favorite series? And then sometimes you gotta dig deep, I really like this game. And, there's 1 or 2 talking points. I mean, I'm almost even afraid to ask you, Sean, what did you enjoy most today? Because there was so much.
You know, I think if I had to point to one thing, it would be the Trap TY series, where every single time Trap attacked, save for 1 or 2 times, I was like, oh, that's definitely going to fail. And then it definitely didn't. And I was like, huh. That was delightful. And oh no! What? We see Hellions sneaking into the third base as well. But this is a great defense by Reynor. Reynor completely negated the retreat path, pulling back, making sure the Lings do not line up too much. Only 5 workers down.
Yeah, and gets the trap there as well. You know, just in the line of all the other predictions today, I was like, HeRoMaRinE is very careful with his Banshees. He never throws them away. Randomly dies to a Queen on the right side of the map. And that's because he was busy trying to get something done with these Hellions. But you gotta feel really good about this start for Reynor. This is definitely the best start he's had so far in this best of 5. I mean, losing 5 drones for what was essentially 8 Hellions and a Banshee.
Oh man.
Like, it doesn't get much better than this, Reynor. I know it's Nightshade, but it doesn't get much better than this.
That's actually so funny. I literally, like, the sentence I just finished was, oh yeah, Hellion Banshee, I love it. It's so reliable, you know? And it's just like, it's all gone. I hit the unit tab, and the unit tab says 1 medevac, 4 Marines. And I'm like, oh god. Like, oh, this is as good of a turnaround as you would want as Reynor.
Absolutely. And this is obviously what he needed as well. He seemed a little flustered after the first 2 games. The Queen's there. Good job by Reynor keeping that Queen alive as well. He requested a minute. I almost never see Reynor requesting a minute, but I think this is a big series for him as well. It's a series that Reynor really wants to win. So obviously being down 0-2 is not where he thought he would find himself as well, because he's also a very confident young man, and you can't blame him. I mean, he's the runner-up of the WCS Global Finals last year. He has beat pretty much everyone. So it makes sense to believe in yourself. He's going for the Hydra then here, by the way.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. I mean, this is essentially asserting, okay, Mutalisks, I'm done with you. You're dead to me. I'm just going to get some things that deal direct damage in fights. None of this harassing nonsense. HeRoMaRinE, yet again, doing his trademark, find weakness, push as hard as possible, and then get out with minimal losses. Look at that. Full medevacs.
Yeah, pretty sweet little pickup there. With the Zerglings being a little bit out of position, HeRoMaRinE is like, all right, 3 Queens, I'll take him. Just runs forward on creep, gets the Queens, and gets out of there. Very well done. The creep spread this game is obviously quite spectacular, though. It's so far along. It's kind of knocking on the 3rd base of HeRoMaRinE. There's creep here.
Ooh, and also, look at that infestation pit timing. Absolutely on point. We even see the muscular augments started right away. I mean, there is no upgrade that is missing here for Reynor.
It feels like a super solid and great setup for Reynor to just play this game out. Of course, you still got to be careful. You don't want to throw away too many banelings. You got to be patient. HeRoMaRinE is trying to push the creep back a little bit in the center of the map. Throws down a scan. Finally gets rid of some of these creep tumors. But, I mean, the minimap looks very promising for Reynor. The economy looks very promising for Reynor. Even upgrade-wise, he's doing very well in this game. He's ahead in the upgrades. Once again, it doesn't get much better than this.
Well, if we look back into the main base of HeRoMaRinE, I mean, we got 8 barracks pumping stuff out. We are in the usual HeRoMaRinE zone. I think the question is this compositional shift from Reynor going to justify not getting the, the typical strength of the Mutalisks?
I think that Reynor just said that it's so hard to make Mutas work on this map, where it's like so hard to pick up reinforcements. They show up so quickly to the center of the map. That medevac is super low on HP, and it does barely survive. Reynor's drone count is at 87 at this point. Like, jeez.
This also could be a response to say, hey, if mines are just littering the map everywhere, Ling Muta just gets annihilated by that. I'm just going to go for core army strength. Just Hydras that just deal damage, and I can trust them. They're rarely ever going to march straight up into a mine.
Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is that you still have some anti-air to shut down the medevacs, right? Like, of course, not as reliable as the Mutalisk, but hey, having Hydras is still pretty good. HeRoMaRinE is going to try to get a drop going. At this point, Reynor also knows that this is where HeRoMaRinE really wants to make magic happen. Big push in the middle of the map, with the mines getting set up in pretty dangerous positions. The Baneling count is very high. We're about to see 43 Banelings, but you got to be careful though. Those Widow mines are still there. There is a drop in the main base. I'm so worried, man. I feel like one mine hit can actually end this. Even though this has been such a good game for Reynor, I am still a little bit concerned for him.
I mean, right now the supplies are neck and neck. Both players essentially maxed, and Reynor has still not chosen to engage yet. Here he's rolling up with some Banelings, but he's not committing, pulling back. What about those Hive Tech upgrades? Reynor was on point getting those up and started. There they are. Boom. 3-3 upgrades. Is Adrenal Glands coming? Is Ultralisk Caverns going to get started? Looks like Reynor is still being pulled in a lot of different directions. Look at this funny little creep arm that's extended along the top of the map, just poking into a potential fourth for Reynor. Excuse me, fourth for HeRoMaRinE.
I mean, that's great, but he still needs to worry about his arm in the middle of the map. The mines are not set up yet. Reynor just goes for it, rolls forward with a lot of the Banelings. That Widowmine shot was big, though, in the middle of the Baneling pack. But in the end, Reynor gets a fair amount of bio units here. There is a little bit of a squad on the bottom side of the map where HeRoMaRinE tried to get some economic damage done, but only 4 drones. Reynor is looking really good in this game.
The one thing I'm worried about is those next steps. It's what we keep coming back to. There's not the groove spines for Hydras. Maybe he doesn't want to commit to them, but if that's not what's going to be the commitment, then great. Okay, now Adrenal Glands is coming up. What about the Ultra Cavern? In the meantime, HeRoMaRinE's already got his plan up and running. Just hit from multiple angles. Hit the right side. And right when the Zerg player is pushing up this way, maybe you just hit at the bottom side. HeRoMaRinE does have to be careful because, those are flying over creep. This weird little arm of creep is just going to do huge work. Wow, 3 medevacs full of units down. HeRoMaRinE instantly tries to hit the south expansion, but wasn't paying attention, and now every Marine that was there but one falls.
Sean, I love that you pointed out the Hydra range upgrade, Groove Spines. That has to be a mistake. I didn't see it, I didn't notice it, I had no idea Reynor didn't have it, but with the amount of Hydras that Reynor has made in this game, like he's up to 14, 15 Hydras, there's no way that's on purpose. I mean, he's sitting on money. Yeah, I'm sure that he would love to have that upgrade. I guess that is the one mistake Reynor has made so far.
I mean, you really think of range as an attack damage upgrade. It allows your units to start shooting instead of move a little bit farther forward and then start. There's a really famous Brood War game where a Zerg player was just losing so badly, but the Terran player accidentally forgot to get the Marine range upgrade, and it lost the game. And ever since then, I obsessively check range upgrades. I mean, Dragoon range, Hydra range, all these things are just massive damage boosters. And HeRoMaRinE, though, is still trying to stretch Reynor thin, but I mean, Hydras are a little bit beefier, a little bit more robust of a defensive unit with Ling Baneling than Mutalisks are. It's easier to kind of split them up and justify it.
It's obviously important to mention that HeRoMaRinE never built a fourth command center. This was supposed to be one of these relentless pressure games by him, where he just takes the middle of the map, he cleans out the creep, he gets a good setup going, and then he just reinforces and he wins with 3 base, Marine, Marauder, Medevac, 3 upgrades. It just doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here, man. He never got in that super safe spot that he wants to be in. Reynor's economy has been pretty much untouched this game. Sure, a couple drones here and there, but nothing dramatic, never 20 drone spotting. The only thing that Reynor didn't get is indeed that Groove Spines upgrade. And I think with that, his life would be a whole lot better, because he's pretty heavy on the Hydras. He's got 16 of them.
Hydras feel really good when you start to get a little bit of a critical mass, because you're always going to be rebuilding Zerglings in the fight, and those Zerglings will just stream past the Hydras, and you can just get thousands of points of damage railed off from them.
The Widowmine's got a couple of good hits here on these Zerglings. They should be able to get a couple big hits there. These times the Widowmines, obviously, they do not have drilling claws, and that is a big difference. Finally, Reynor gets into a mineral line. A lot of SCVs go down, and that is going to be it. Reynor doesn't need no grooved spines, apparently, when he's playing Hydra Ling Bane, as he gets the victory, and we'll get some more StarCraft today.
Man, I gotta say, that last little Zergling run-by that you were looking at, the camera was focused on that, HeRoMaRinE was focused on that, and that was just 2 seconds of distraction. And all the HeRoMaRinE's main army clump at the 6 o'clock expansion got nailed by Banelings. I mean, that plummeted from 180 supply to 100 supply in 2 seconds. It was awesome to watch. And I mean, that's kind of the multitasking promise of this matchup. Like, you gotta split Marines versus Banelings if you're not building mines, not building tanks. not trying to slow push or anything like this. If you're being crazy aggressive, the promise you're making is that I'm going to be able to micro this. And if you're a Zerg player, you're just trying to disrupt that. Even if the Zergling counterattack doesn't do a lot of damage, well, maybe I can get my Banelings to connect with the main force. I mean, very, very nice recovery in this series from Reynor.
Yeah, that was a very good game by Reynor, just from the beginning to the end. It all starts with the way he shot down those Hellions. Like, those Hellions just dove in. They wanted to get as many drones as possible. He gets the pretty much immediate surround, only ends up losing a couple of drones, then kills the random Banshee on the right side as well. And it felt from that point, it's like, all right, Reynor, show us what you got. Well, he played an awesome game. He never overcommitted off creep. He held his ground. I loved everything that Reynor did in the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a little asterisk on this win, which is sometimes when you move in with Hellions, you get some damage done and you lose them, but then maybe the Banshees stay alive and are able to continue to poke. In that game, all the Hellions and all the Banshees died immediately, like at the same instant in the game, and all ability for HeRoMaRinE to continue the pressure just kind of evaporated. And it's kind of difficult for me to quantify what the impact of that was. You know, you want to like go back and compare a game where that didn't happen to a game where that did happen. But I mean, you just felt HeRoMaRinE never quite getting the same leg up of pressure in game 3.
No, it never was able to squeeze in that medevac drop that actually killed more than 2 or 3 drones, right? It just did not take place. Which means that we are heading into Game 4 of the final best of 5 of this spectacular day of StarCraft 2 here at TSL 5 in the left bottom side of Zen. We're looking in the main base of the Italian Stallion. It is Reynor.
And in the top right, if you're looking for someone to build 28 Hellions and still win, I got your pal right here. From Germany, it's HeRoMaRinE.
This has been a really good series. Like, this was one of these series when I saw it in the bracket, I was like, ooh, I love this, because this is kind of becoming a European classic, right? Like, we have 2 very confident individuals going up against each other. And the best thing about this rivalry is that it's not a one-sided one. Reynor has won plenty of times, but lately HeRoMaRinE has been winning his fair share of series as well. And that makes it really fun. Of course, we all talk about Reynor against Clem all the time, but Reynor against HeRoMaRinE is just as fun.
Will HeRoMaRinE do something a little cute or lean heavily towards standard? I mean, I'm really fond of HeRoMaRinE's just swiftly going into the Marine medevac style. I mean, that was just so efficient in game number 1. No real telltale signs at the moment, and I feel pretty confident that Reynor's going to go 3-hatch this game. Just go 3-hatch, play standard, play defensive. On this map, though, I kind of do like Mutalisks for their speed when contrasted with Hydralisks, because you kind of have to grow up. It's very hard to snake around and take the bottom right side.
When I'm seeing Zen here, I just think of Sue earlier today. He's like, oh, you're down economically, you're down in upgrades, you're down in army quality. You know what you should do? Just attack off creep on the other side of the map, run into the Terran's natural with Link Bane Muda. It's gonna work, man. And we're all like, no, that can never work. And then somehow Sue steals that game. That was a really awesome game. You guys should definitely check it out. And of course, Mana against Showtime on this map as well was pretty cool too.
This has just been a really juicy map for high-quality games. Clem DRG was amazing.
The best, maybe, of the day? Would you say that? I mean, I know we had a lot of fireworks and a lot of insane results, but Clem DRG on Zen was probably the best.
That's probably certainly the best match. I mean, there were a lot of times where I'm like, wow, DRG's done it. What a great move. And then, oh my gosh, okay, no, Clem's done. Okay, no, DRG managed to counterattack and pick stuff off. This drone is wearing many hats in life. He's been this extractor, that extractor, and soon enough he's going to grow up and be a big, strong hatchery.
I know that Reynor really hates this kind of stuff, but in the end, like you said earlier today, you have no choice on this map. You are forced to expand there. There's no way you want to take that base on the right side of your natural. It's just way too exposed. It's going to be way too hard to defend early on. It's too wide open, so it stings a little bit. Well, what are the SCVs doing there? Well, okay, HeRoMaRinE with a small slip up. Oh, I guess there was a Zergling counterattack because they took damage as well. I completely missed that. 2 Zergling.
Man, that is some really crisp decision making. Oh, you're trying to mess with me at my third base, trying to build a bunker, trying to delay that? Let me just send a single pair. That's it. Just a little bit, just to disrupt. And it looks like it was successful. I mean, 50 minerals lost for maybe delaying 60, 70 minerals. It's small, but hey, those are the kind of moves that'll let you win.
Absolutely. We have the 2 Reapers. Oh, HeRoMaRinE with a little mistake there. Actually, almost got surrounded. Good job saving it in the end. We're going to get a Viking here from HeRoMaRinE. That's a bit different as well. Now, obviously, that Viking is going to take care of the Overlord near the main base. But that's also kind of cool. The Viking is kind of like, I want to take vision away from the Zerg player because I want to do some cool stuff down the road.
Yeah, I'd almost call it like maybe the most conservative opening that we're seeing here. You get just enough Hellions to deny creep and to scout. You also get some guaranteed kills on these Overlords. I mean, it's just really, really basic, straightforward opening that then transitions quickly into a Marine-heavy composition. And we already see HeRoMaRinE very swiftly building the barracks right on top of that reactor, getting the stim. Third barracks is going to land at that second tech lab and then off to combat shield and then, hip 1A.
A little bit of a Zergling counter here. It's actually somewhat annoying. I am keeping a close eye on the evolution chambers of Reynor because he started +1 carapace. Okay, now he fires up +1 melee as well. He was a bit short on gas, but I was just afraid that he would forget about it because he was already, dealing with Zergling run-bys again and stuff like that. But it is very important to be on top of those. I mean, tournament life is not on the line, but your winner bracket run is on the line. And with how stacked this tournament is, you don't want to drop to the first round of that lower bracket.
Gosh, I mean, just all the names that are here in these 8 best of 5s. I mean, this is all at the same layer of the tournament. It's not like we're doing round 1 and then round 2 and then doing some lower matches. This is all the exact same round of the winner's bracket, which means anyone that drops down there has the real gauntlet they have to go through to advance to the finals.
We have seen some miraculous runs over the years, but yeah, doing it in the TSL 5, that'd be amazing. I mean, that lower bracket, after today, I just thought about it. That lower bracket is stacked, okay? That lower bracket just got completed by Serral, Innovation, Cure, Zest. Like, are you kidding me?
The most stacked tournament in history, the TeamLiquid lower bracket.
I mean, you joke, but imagine if Reynor goes down here as well. I mean, or HeRoMaRinE, right? They're both amazing, right. But that's insane.
Oh no, the Hellions get beautifully surrounded by Reynor. I mean, Reynor got all but one, and, technically you'd want to give a minor advantage to the Zerg player right now. Zerg player has vision control. There's no Hellions. There's no pressure that can come up right now, but I mean, HeRoMaRinE really shines when he gets on 3 base, 8 racks.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel so far this has also been a clean start for Reynor. Maybe not as awesome as Nightshade, but it's pretty damn acceptable. He's got to be feeling quite good about it. Creep is already making its way into the middle of the map, and that's obviously a place you'd love to be in. I like how there is a Viking on creep duty over there. It's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Listen, I hate to say this to you, Viking, but we've had a change of duties. Oh man, really, really nice, gentle defense from Reynor. I mean, defending creep spread is actually the most significant continuous action that both players undertake in this game. Yeah, you have a little spike of drops here, a counterattack there, but the Zerg is constantly trying to grow the creep. Constantly, and the Terran is constantly trying to deny and to delay. And here, wow, look at this. A siege tank is actually part of the mix. About 2 siege tanks. I mean, this is another way of HeRoMaRinE saying, I don't think that I have enough with just Marines to face your Baneling members.
This is a very... If I was Reynor, I wouldn't even try to fight here. Like, I really don't think... Obviously, you don't want to let those tanks siege up near natural, but I have seen some horrible fights over the last few weeks in these positions. There was a game that I saw Wardy cast between Innovation and Solar, where Innovation was like down 50 workers for the entire game, and then Solar just took the worst fight ever, exactly here where those tanks are positioned of HeRoMaRinE as well. So Reynor needs to be very careful, because this can be hard to engage, especially if you only come in from one angle.
Very smart play happening by Reynor while this is going on. You can just see on the minimap the top left base is being taken right now. Reynor's almost saying, yeah, you know what, I don't think I'm going to be able to defend this. I'll just hit the escape button and move on. And look at this, Mutalisks coming out. Reynor is going to be going for a very mobile force. There's no layer out, no hive out at this point in time, so it means no transition to 3-3 for the Zerg.
But I love that by HeRoMaRinE. I mean, you said it like, great job by Reynor taking the base on left top side. HeRoMaRinE is so freaking good. He's probably taking the left top side. But oh, he's not paying attention to that drop. The Banelings do connect with the Marines, and that is a great pickoff indeed. After HeRoMaRinE gets a double cancel on 2 bases, look at where those siege tanks are. This is going to get interesting. If I was Reynor, I wouldn't waste any time. I would just collapse on this army at this point. It might not be pretty, but you want to take care of this.
Oh, here it comes from all sides. 1, 2, 3 Mutalisks get picked off without really doing very much at all. But beautiful pickups from HeRoMaRinE, just trying to continuously reposition to better angles, get off the creep, preserve and retain as many of these Marines as humanly possible. But there's yet another force from HeRoMaRinE moving once again to that far top left. And look at this, Liberator at the top left expansion. Liberator just denying all the mining. Really, really slick moves coming out from HeRoMaRinE.
They're playing so well, both of them. I mean, HeRoMaRinE with all this action on the bottom side of the map, then double Liberator harass, gets 10 drones. At the same time, he's sending a pretty decent force as well. Wants to get in the mineral line, and I'm not sure if he's really going to be able to do that as Reynor shuts it down. It really does feel that Gabe is playing good here, but so is Reynor. Reynor has stepped up his gameplay from the first 2 games, where he just kind of let HeRoMaRinE do whatever he wanted. This time, I think Reynor is doing a much better job in shutting a lot of this down. But hey, there's still plenty of things to worry about, because he doesn't have an infestation pit, there is no hive tech on the way, and we know that if 3-3 upgrades ever come into play, things will get a lot more difficult for this Mutaling Bane stuff.
I mean, I always worry when I see a player not doing transitions. Like, look at this bottom fight. This is good, don't get me wrong. It is great to be picking off medevacs, Marines, getting free pickoffs, but at the end of the day, even though HeRoMaRinE, you might say bluntly, oh, okay, he's just going to build Marines and medevacs and keep attacking, HeRoMaRinE is getting more upgrades, getting more bases, getting more upgrades, getting more bases. The upgrades are the most notable part. As Zerg, you need to also be getting more upgrades, getting your next step going, making sure that you're not just winding up in this stagnant position. Ling Muta Baneling is not good to be maxed on.
I mean, the creep is going to get pushed back here a little bit. Reynor is just kind of waiting for the perfect engagement. You look at the minimap, we see there is a big circling counterattack as well, but this fight is a little more important at this point, as Banelings get good connections, actually. What can the Marines get done? The Marines are all over the units over here. The Widowmine's not getting the Dream connections at the same time. HeRoMaRinE is dropping on the left top side, because, Sean, we are not out of StarCraft action yet. These nerds are going crazy.
I mean, 3 major engagements happening at once. How many workers were lost? Not too many. 10? Never mind. Oh, the caster curse strikes again. Only 8 were done when I started my sentence, Roddy. It doesn't count. But I mean, just 3 or 4 Zerglings in that worker patch, in the worker line, just eats through. And Terran does not rebuild SCVs quickly. It's not like Zerg where you can lose 10 drones, and as long as you can live through this production cycle, you can get that base up and running with just one smooth pressing of the D button. But here, Reynor, now teching all the way up to Hive, desperately trying to prevent any more picking off of the expansions. I mean, Reynor is what I'll describe as barely on 5 bases. Look at this 5th base that's here. It's not even really doing that much. Is this Mutalisk counterattack a little too bold?
Well, yeah, this is where things get really interesting, right? Because that Hive is going to take a little while before it comes into play. These fights here off creep are difficult. I think Reynor should bring the Mutas back home and then try to clean this up. We know the splits of HeRoMaRinE have been fantastic so far in this series. Reinforcements are coming in for HeRoMaRinE as well, and they're going to fight the Mutas for a split second. There is so much happening. What an amazing game again.
Well, the Mutalisks do have their +1 attack upgrade. Where is Reynor going to choose to engage? These Widowmines burrow so fast. Will they connect? Ugh! Those Banelings immediately turn to green Gak on the ground doing nothing. And now Reynor has to pull back. Reynor's maxed. But now that Reynor is getting close to finishing Hive, it's got to be 3-3 and Adrenal immediately. I mean, 3-3 is finishing up right now for HeRoMaRinE. This is the attack that's going to decide the fate of this base.
Yep, that makes it so difficult, right? Because now we have that 2 upgrade advantage on the side of the German Terran. The Mutas are on the other side of the map. I like Reynor's decision to just give up this base for now. You don't want to fight off creep. It's a big circling counterattack, but there's quite a few Marines here. There's Widowmines who are not burrowed yet, and that means that his army is not taken care of that quickly. There are a couple of missile turrets are helping out quite a bit. Reynor is spending all of his money, though. Sean, Reynor needs to do more than he's done so far here, and I do feel like he is going to be able to get quite a few SCVs, but it is so dicey, because after losing this base, he's down 2 upgrades. Reynor needs victories, otherwise he too will be dropping to the lower bracket.
Oh man, Reynor did the exact same style counterattack that gave Sue a win over Innovation earlier today in their Game 5. Reynor needs to recognize that his hive is done and that it's time to get next step upgrades. Oh, look out, Mutalisk, careful!
They almost got the medevac carrying the Thor right above that obstacle in the middle of the map. That would have been spectacular. HeRoMaRinE is like, all right, job done on the bottom side of the map, got the base. Now I'm going to take the left top base. And Reynor, I don't think he can fight that, man. Like, down 2 upgrades. He wants to bust the planetary, but there are 4 missile turrets there. Reynor better gets this base. If he doesn't get it here, then he's going to be in all the trouble. There's also a big fight happening on the left top side. There's so many Banelings.
There's so many everything happening everywhere. This planetary fortress, is it going to fall? It looks like yes. Is Reynor going to commit his Banelings to defending this attack? No, Raynor's saying, okay, wait a minute. Your third is almost done. Your second is almost done. Your main is almost done. HeRoMaRinE has done a fantastic job hitting all these multiple places at once, but Reynor is still managing to stay 1 base up. A single tier 3 upgrade coming out for Reynor right now. Reynor is still maneuvering around with these Mutalisks and is just desperate to deny a 4th base for HeRoMaRinE.
I just want to point out that HeRoMaRinE has obviously been losing quite a few SCVs, right? Look at his army supply. It's 154 at this point. Like, that is a massive Terran army for a massive man.
I would dare say describe that army as big.
Oh, Burrowed Banelings, I love it! Oh my goodness!
Yes, please, yes, please, yes!
Oh! Yes! What a day!
Tactical maneuvers. Hey, Widowmine's been working out well this entire tournament day. Why not try to do a DIY Widowmine style for Zerg? As we see, HeRoMaRinE is getting counterattacked at his natural expansion. Reynor is committing all the Banelings. No, giving up on the commitment, just trying to make sure that he doesn't wind up walking straight into the beautiful splits from HeRoMaRinE. And at this point in time, HeRoMaRinE has this base established at the top, but there's nothing here. The multitasking from Reynor was a little too strong, and Reynor managed to overwhelm the bottom as well. I mean, is Reynor actually going to do this? I don't know. I mean, HeRoMaRinE has just beast macro, man.
Yeah, off 32 SCVs. I don't know how he's able to produce this many units, but he's somehow able to. Maybe he's getting a discount or something. But I kind of like the way that Reynor has been playing the last few minutes of this game. I think the point you made about those first 3 bases of HeRoMaRinE is spot on. Look at those mineral patches. They're pretty much all gone. If Reynor can get 1 victory right now, I don't think HeRoMaRinE can really rebuild any more of the super wonky economy that he's currently working with. But Reynor has to be careful because he too cannot afford to lose Banelings and Mutas like this.
Oh no, HeRoMaRinE just spots that the drones are vulnerable, darts forward to pick off as many as possible. It's basically still 4 base versus 4 base, with HeRoMaRinE having a slight edge due to the central location of his last mining expansion. If Reynor can get a big connection with Banelings, isolate, maybe get in another big counterattack, Reynor can win this, but right now, oh, HeRoMaRinE with just amazing loads and unloads. There are so many Ling Mutas that have to keep retreating. The entire army of HeRoMaRinE, I think, is finally going to join together.
It's still so big. How is it this big still? 134 army supply for HeRoMaRinE. He's got the 3-3 upgrades. He's getting in range of the middle lane. The Banelings not really getting the connections that they're looking for. It's just a couple of Marauders. I think this is going to be it for the second day of TSL 5. As I just don't see any way that Reynor can stop this army. Is it an upset? I don't know. I know he's done it before. He won a couple times in the qualifiers, but HeRoMaRinE is gonna send Reynor to the lower bracket.
And Reynor is desperately trying to hold on, but it is not enough. HeRoMaRinE wins the series 3-1 and had to work for it in game number 4. What a spectacular showcase of skill from HeRoMaRinE in this final series. I mean, from both players, but certainly HeRoMaRinE, you have to be diligent about not letting up pressure. If you just take 30 seconds as a breather, Reynor's going to pick you to pieces. HeRoMaRinE's ability to macro in the midst of having no SCVs and no bases and his main being under attack, that was godlike play from HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, the way that he was like jumping around on the bottom side of the map from low ground to high ground to right next to the main, back into the main, and then at the same time dropping the left top side immediately. A spectacular performance by HeRoMaRinE. I am generally very impressed. He played better throughout this best of 5. Like the first game, he was flawless. The second game is like, that's not even the greatest start, but then he kept going. The 28 Hellion opening into Marines with Stim. Why not? Gets the job done there as well. Game 3, which is traditionally a very strong map for him. Nightshade, it didn't really work out. He got shot down early and was never able to turn it around. But on Zen, he looked fantastic.
I mean, the sheer display of skill today was breathtaking. The games today were breathtaking. There were matches that were standard slugfests. There were matches with weird strategies. There was these really scrappy games that went no way I could possibly predict. I mean, what a thrilling day it's been, Roddy.
We stand as one. Are you gonna give me orders?